Okay, now Smartlist Builder has been around for some time now, and it was a great addition to the GP modules. With GP 2013 SP2 came the addition of Smartlist Designer, which now is core and built in to standard GP whenever you have a new install or a new upgrade. A lot of people have said, okay, what's the difference between the two? So what I'll do today is try and give you a little bit of an idea as to what you can do with one, what you can do with another. But the best way to describe it in short is that Smartlist Builder is the big brother of Smartlist Designer. You can do a lot more with it. There's additional tools within it, but with that comes additional time to complete things, and it is a little bit more fiddly to set things up. On the flip side of that, with Smartlist Designer, it's free. You get it as part of Dynamics GP, and it is very, very simple to use. The drawback with that is that it does have limited functionality in comparison to Smartlist Builder. So I will start. Got my UK company and my US company. This company has got Smartlist Builder installed, and my UK company has got Smartlist Designer. And I'm going to start with Smartlist Designer. So I'm just going to open it up. So you'll see standard smart lists, as you would expect. But what you now have is at the top left-hand side, you have a new button. And what that will do is create a brand new smart list. Now you can either start from scratch or you can start with an existing smart list as a basis. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my standard account transactions. So I click new. You'll see what it does is it's automatically populated all the fields that are within my standard smart list. Alternatively, if you didn't want to start with one, you could just click new. But I'm going to start with account transactions. So just to show you how simple it is, so if I go to new, I'm going to call this account TRX with amount. So one of the things that Smartlist doesn't have normally is an amount field, so debit less credit. So I'm going to click on my function. I'm going to add. So I'm just going to call this amount. Type currency because it's a currency field. And do arithmetic. And it's not showing my currency fields. So let's ignore that. The benefit you have with Smartlist Designer is that you can actually see if it's going to return any values at time of creation. So you don't have to go around, run it, figure out what the problem is. The other benefit you have to Smartlist Designer is once you've actually created it, it then becomes available straight away on Smartlist itself. Just going to go to modify that. And I'm going to delete that. Okay, so I'm going to start with a blank canvas. So what I'm actually going to do is I'd quite like to be able to get a list of my suppliers with their bank details. So I'm going to go into my purchase ledger. And find my PM vendor, my creditor master file. Now I can either mark one of them and it adds all the tables in, all the fields in, sorry, or I can simply pick which ones I want. So let's have my vendor name, my vendor ID, bank account name. going to call this Backs. You can say which folder you want it to appear in, so just click Purchasing. I'm just going to execute that, make sure I can see it. Perfect. So now what I need to do is my Backs details are in a different field. So this is particularly good for Backs details, or if you wanted a list of which email template someone's got assigned, or what their email address or BCC is, so on and so forth. You can link to anything that you like. So I'm just going to link this to my table, which has got my bank details in. And I'm just going to have my bank name, my bank account, and the bank code. Now obviously that's two different tables. You can use the also link, or if you want to be a little bit more creative, say, okay, what's the join between the two? So my vendor ID is vendor ID. So we'll just execute, and there we go. What we have is everything there. So what you'll see, got lots of records. If I change that to one of the different options, it will actually say, well, actually only bring me back records that have got that in there. So I'll just click Execute, click OK. What you'll now see is a very, very simple Smartlist created in Smartlist Designer, which is available just as any other Smartlist is available through restrictions through security. If you want to remove one that's there, you simply click Modify and Delete. Now, one thing that's particularly good is if you have created in-house any SQL views for company-specific information, for argument's sake, purchase ledger, inventory, so on and so forth, what you can actually do is you can create your own smart list which look directly at those SQL views. So if someone in your IT department has created those, they are available, whether they be system-wide or company-wide, to build smart lists on. So if you're not sure as to what fields, which tables, what joins you need to do, either Advantage can help you with that, or if you have the skills in-house with SQL, someone can create that for you at the back end. Then from a finance user perspective, they can then go in and create their own smart list based on those. So here is a list within my company databases of all the tables which have been created at the back end. All I'm going to do is I'm going to mark one that I created, and I'll call it Detailed Transactions. Once again, I'm going to execute. I've got my information. I'm going to make sure that goes into Financial and click OK. Now, one thing you'll notice for any of these smart lists you create by a SQL view, you can actually publish them as an Excel report. So those of you who are using Excel reports, one thing you'll find that they are great from the perspective of analysing, cross-referencing, putting pivot tables on. So if you have got a large number of transactions within GP that you want to analyse, rather than do it within Smartlist, you can say, well, actually what I'd rather do is have this directly in Excel. So I've got my Publish button. It says it's been published. And what I can now do, if I go into where my Excel reports are published for this one particular company, what it will have done is created my transaction smart list within here. You can choose where those get saved to on whichever shared drive, whichever company access, whichever user access you so desire. Smartlist Designer is great, but it is very, very scaled down in compared to Smartlist Builder. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to close Smartlist Designer, and I'm going to swap over to my other company, where I have Smartlist Builder installed. So once again, the window itself looks exactly the same, but when I click on New, it's slightly different. You can do an awful lot more with it. So you can create a new smart list, or you can use an existing smart list. So I created a new one earlier on called Account Transactions. So very, very easily within here, what I've done is I've added just my standard smart list for account transactions. What I've also done is I've created a calculated field, and I've done that by simply clicking on Calculations. Very, very easily. So you can create any calculation you like based on any of the fields you've got, and whether that be a single table or a joined table. And you can actually create any number of automatically calculated fields. You can pop it in any folder, same as you can with Smartlist Designer. You can find where the information is. If you're more technical, you can change the order of the fields. You can create your own go-tos. And that can be a drill down, a file, anything you like. Now where Smartlist Builder is good, if I save this, you then see there's my smart list. So I've got my nice debit and credit amounts shown the right way round. And as with any smart list, you can pop that into Excel. And there we have it. So not too dissimilar so far, but the additional things you get with Smartlist Builder are very good. You have an Excel report builder. So those of you who want to create specific Excel reports based on a bespoke table, any number of GP tables, you can actually build it within here and publish it to wherever you want to. What you can also do is any smart list you've created, you can simply copy and pop them into Excel Builder. Or alternatively, you can just create your own. You can set the type as a list or a pivot table. And what it will automatically do is create a SQL view for you. You can add restrictions, as you would with any normal smart list. I can then publish to whichever setting I want. So whether we SharePoint, a library, file, so on and so forth. I can also restrict permissions to SQL user roles. So if you want to have specific sales ledger or purchase ledger, you can actually restrict who these have access to. You have a navigation list builder as well. So those of you who use your navigation lists, you can create your own. And you can say to pop it in wherever you want. So I'm going to create in my purchasing, I'm going to have my creditors. as an example. I can again put calculations, and also I can create my own actions pane. So what do I like to do? Let's open backs details for argument's sake. And you can link it to anything that you like. Very, very simple to use. And it will then appear in your lists. One of the best things you get with Smartlist Builder is the ability to know where the information comes from. So for argument's sake, if I just want to know where my backs details are stored, so what I can do is if I pop open my supplier, I can open any of these windows and I have a table finder. And what that does is it tells me all the tables and the dictionaries where the information is stored. It also gives me the names. So if I want to create my own views or my own tables, it's very, very simple to do. If I go into my email window, again, which table are we looking at? There's the table we're looking at. Go into my email window. Again, table finder. Makes it very, very simple to actually find where information is stored. So you can use that when creating your smart lists or your navigation list or your Excel reports to actually find specific information that's right for you. If you do need to know specific differences between Smartlist Builder and Smartlist Designer, you can go to the E1 website. So if you go to e1solutions.com, Smartlist Builder versus Smartlist Designer, what it will actually do is give you a complete list of all the differences between the two modules. Thank you very much for your time.